Hi, I'm Keith Hawkins. I'm a sophomore astrophysics major here at Ohio University's Honors Tutorial College. This past fall quarter I was actually in Ghana teaching middle school mathematics and integrated science at Philip Kwaku Boys School in Cape Coast, Ghana. There's a program called Teaching Ghana, which is to go to Ghana to teach. And since I want to become a professor, teaching would be a good thing for me to do. I really like Africa, and it's a part of who I am, and so going to Africa was something personal to me. Also, I'm an African Studies minor, so it was fulfilling some of those requirements of the Studies minor to go to Africa and take courses while I was there. It was difficult because it is a developing country, so you have to let go of the luxurious things that we think of here. For example, running water is very luxurious and something that I didn't really have very much of in Ghana. So just little things like that that you really don't think about, or you think everybody has, and then you go to Ghana and you're like, oh, and then you have to, adapt yourself to the different environment there. I figured that by now they would have running water and running clean water, I should say, to most of the facilities. Not every house, but most of the houses. And I lived in a middle to upper class middle family in Ghana, and they didn't have running water. So it made me really question, okay, the people who are not so middle class, what do they have? And so that was probably one of the most shocking things, other than the educational system is very different there. And so becoming a teacher in that educational system was also a very big challenge. It was very different. I mean, as a student, you are stressed because you are responsible for your own work. As a teacher, you are stressed because you are responsible for 30 to 50 kids. It's a very different experience, and I really kind of like being a teacher because it's a little less. I think it's a little less stress because I don't have to take an exam. As I said when I was coming back, I'm going to have a really rough quarter because I'll have to learn how to take exams rather than give them. So my students, most of them, didn't know how to multiply small numbers. 2 times 4, 2 times 6. Like they didn't know how to multiply that. So when I first got there, the first thing I did was institute daily multiplication quizzes and exercises, where their exit ticket out of my class was to complete their daily multiplication quiz, if you will. And by the end of the term, most of them had, pretty much all of them really, actually knew the entire multiplication table. And when we were going through the final, what we call the multiplication mentals, when we go through the final one on the last day of school, it was really exciting because all of them were able to recite the entire multiplication table perfectly. And to be able to do that was just an amazing feeling for me as a teacher. So there were really 3 cultural things I would say that I really had it was really different for me. The first is that really laid back atmosphere there. If you go to anywhere in the U.S., if you go to the main college campuses in the U.S., you'll probably see people running around trying to get your stuff like all the time. And they'll be really stressed out. But in Ghana, it's like people just take their time. It's not really that big of a deal. Like you can show up, you should show up, but you don't necessarily have to show up. That kind of thing. It's a very laid-back environment. The second thing is their concept of time. When they say that a meeting starts at 2 o'clock, they might actually mean 3 or 3:30. So their concept of time is very different. I remember on the first day of school, school starts at 7:30, so I wanted to go to school at 7:20. So I'd arrive at least 10 minutes early, because that's our culture. And I was told, no, don't go to school until 8:30 or 9, because no one's going to be there. Because their concept on the first day was don't come until 8:30 or 9, even though school's supposed to start at 7:30. They don't want to be the first one showing up at school. So that was the second thing. And then the third and final thing was really just the lifestyle change of like eating and appropriate behavior. For example, you're not allowed to use your left hand to do very many things. And I'm a lefty. I'm a left-handed person. But you're not allowed to use your left hand to eat. You're not supposed to use your left hand to like give people anything. It's considered an insult because your left hand is reserved for dirty things. So if you use your left hand, then you're insulting the person that you're doing it. So for me, that was a very difficult change because I'm a left-handed person and I use my left hand without thinking. So I had to consciously make an effort to use my right hand. I would say that I've become extremely conscious of the things that we waste because you learn how little you can live on when you're in a developing country. So I've slowly like cut down on just different things, taking shorter showers, that kind of thing. But how it would affect my work here, it gives me a better perspective on the Ghanaian culture. So when I go to study, for example, Tree, which is the Ghanaian language, or if I go to study an African Studies course here at Ohio University, I'll be able to give an interesting perspective about my experiences in Ghana and what I've experienced to be African culture. So